Chapter 14. The boys have no time to dive in the water. The Villa Vinicius lay in the shade-softened Minerva Square on the Esquiline Hill. Mucius pounded the iron hoop door-knocker against the gate. "Open quickly, please," he shouted, gasping for breath. For the third time today the boys had run through Rome as though their lives depended on it. Inside the gate a hinged plate was lifted, and the doorman peered through the peephole. He recognized the boys and immediately swung open the door. "May the gods attend you, noble young lords," he said in greeting. His young mistress, Claudia, had given him strict orders to admit her brother Caius his friends always, and to welcome them with honors. "If I may say, the right foot forward," he urged them amiably. It was considered bad luck for anybody to step into a house with his left foot first. "We must speak to Caius immediately," Mucius said. "I haven't seen him today, young master," the doorman said, "but I'll tell my mistress you are here. She's just come back from the city." Several slaves stood in the background. The doorman signaled to one of them, and he disappeared quickly behind the hanging curtain in the vestibule. The boys brushed off their sandals and waited impatiently for his return. "Caius must have taken a detour, or else he'd be here by now," Julius said. "Maybe he couldn't control his appetite, and he made a quick stop for some roasted chestnuts on the steps of the Capitol," Publius suggested. "He certainly said often enough that he was hungry." "He was far too upset to think about food," Rufus said. "Something's wrong." The slave reappeared, holding the hanging to one side. "My mistress has asked you to come in and to be patient a moment more," he said. The boys looked around the great hall for any sign of Caius. Oriental carpets were everywhere, even around a pool with a cheerful fountain bubbling in the center. Silver lamps shielded with bell-shaped globes made of the finest Alexandrian glass stood on 4 marble tables. Running along on the left and right were colonnades, behind which one could see the shimmer of ivory-inlaid doors leading to other rooms. The walls between were brightly painted, the murals on them depicting famous warriors out of the Roman sagas. The slanting rays of the setting sun shone through the square opening in the ceiling and fell upon the house altar that sat within a niche in a prominent place. It was surrounded by the tutelary gods of the family. Above it, colored wax masks of Vinicius's ancestors looked down on the boys. As was the custom, a small eternal flame flickered in a basin hanging from a tripod. Antonius threw himself down full length on a sofa between puffy pillows. "I'll never get up again," he said, sighing. "My feet hurt," Flavius said. He sat down on the ledge of the fountain. "We've certainly done our share of chasing around this morning," Publius added. Rufus said, "I'd like to know what's taking Claudia so long." "If she doesn't come pretty soon, I'm going to start looking for Caius by myself," Mucius said grimly. Just then Claudia called out laughingly, "Here I am!" She entered from the garden, accompanied by 2 women slaves and one of her governesses, the young Greek Lysis. Antonius and Flavius jumped to their feet. "By Juno!" Antonius cried. "Have you just come from a wedding, Claudia?" The other boys were surprised, too. Claudia was quite festively dressed. The boys had never seen her like that before. She was wearing a white stole made of pure silk trimmed with bands of gold, and white sandals interwoven with purple lacings, whose long ends were wrapped around her ankles in a criss-cross pattern. Her hair was done in the Greek style, artfully rolled curls held high on her head, with a silver ribbon and sprinkled with gold powder. Enhancing the fall of curls was a mother-of-pearl comb lavishly decorated with rubies and sapphires. A diamond ring sparkled on her left hand, and gold bracelets glistened on both arms. A chain of small hammered bronze discs hung around her neck. A fragrance of oriental perfumes rose from her. Claudia's fingernails were manicured, her toenails were lacquered red, and even her eyelashes were artificially lengthened. Claudia had turned 12 only a short while before. Although still young, since the death of her mother, she was the acknowledged mistress of the house. The boys liked her. Often, when they were younger, they had allowed her to play with them. "Why are you all looking at me like that?" she said. "We are overwhelmed," Publius said with a smile. "You look like Queen Cleopatra on her coronation day." "And you smell like the soap factory of Menelaus," Mucius said, as a joke. Claudia laughed. "You'll have to forgive me for being so dressed up," she said. "I have to visit my great-aunt once a month, and I've just come back. She's the emperor's mother. She insists that I dress like a princess so that I can impress her son, the emperor, in case he should accidentally see me." "The sight of you would delight even the gods on Olympus," Rufus said. Everybody laughed because Rufus often spoke inordinately and at great length about Claudia. "Well, it's wonderful to have you here," Claudia said. "We have a new swimming pool in the garden, and imagine, it has a real little waterfall. It's so hot out today. Why don't you jump in and cool off?" "Another time with pleasure," Mucius said, "but we have no time now. Where is Caius? We must talk to him immediately about a matter of vital importance." "Caius has gone off somewhere," Claudia said. "When I came home a few minutes ago in my sedan chair, I saw him and my father's private secretary, Tyro, run out of the garden gate as though evil spirits were after them. I called them, but they were so excited they didn't hear me." "By the powers of heaven," Julius blurted out, "we've come too late." "Nonsense," Mucius said. "We can intercept them if we climb down the side of the hill. Then we'll reach the city prefecture before they do. Hurry, Publius. Get our sandals out of the entrance hall. We'll cut through the garden. It's closer." Publius tore out of the room. Claudia heard all this with astonishment. "Why is it so important to catch up with Caius?" she asked, anxiously. "We can't explain now," Julius said. "It's a matter of life and death," Antonius said. Claudia looked at them, terrified. "What?" she said. Julius asked Claudia, "Who is this Tyro? Can he be trusted?" Claudia nodded fervently. "Oh, yes. My father got rid of his former secretary and took Tyro to replace him. Tyro's not a slave, he's a hostage, and you know hostages are never considered slaves. Tyro is a young prince from Armenia. After the fall of Armenia, my father brought him to Rome. He treats him like a peer and a friend. Tyro is grateful to him, and he has sworn eternal loyalty. My father trusts him without reservation." Publius returned with the sandals, and the boys slipped them on. "Why are you in such a hurry?" Claudia asked. "Has Caius done something wrong?" They often argued, of course, but she loved him very much. "He's about to," Publius said. Rufus nodded. "He just doesn't know it." Claudia looked from one to the other in silence. Lysis, her young Greek girl, broke in. "Young masters, there's absolutely no point in your running to the city prefecture." "Why not?" Mucius asked. "The prefect isn't in his office today because of the terrible heat. He stayed at home. Caius and Tyro are on their way to his villa. I was present when Caius told Tyro about Udo and the letter." "Where's the prefect's villa? Please, Lysis, quickly," said Mucius. "Publius can run ahead of us and try to catch them. He runs fast as a whippet." "I'm afraid I don't know where the villa is, young master," Lysis said sadly. Julius beat his fist on the table. "Now we're done for," he said. "The spirits of the underworld are throwing rocks in our way," Antonius cried. At that moment noises were heard in the reception hall, and excited voices rang out behind the hanging. Then the drapes were flung to one side, and 4 slaves entered carrying a young man whom they placed on the sofa. Claudia ran up to him. "Tyro!" she cried. "What happened?" Painfully, Tyro pulled himself up to a half-sitting position. His forehead was bloody, and his nose was swollen. He mumbled weakly, "Mistress, we were attacked by 3 men." "Where is Caius?" all the boys cried. "They captured him and dragged him away," Tyro said.